I have here on my phone QQ Messenger. Now, if you don't know what WeChat is, or you're not familiar with WeChat, you should check a video that we have about that first, because that's going to give you a tour of WeChat. WeChat is the biggest social platform in China, and QQ is one that's kind of similar to WeChat, and it's owned by the same company. And it's kind of like the big sister of WeChat, because QQ was launched in 1999. That's so long ago in internet terms, you know? And when it was first launched, it was like ICQ, which is another messenger program that was out there. Only extremely old people that are 30 years old or older, like myself, will know what ICQ was. But it was a messenger app that would be on your desktop computer. It would show up in the bottom right, and you could use it to message your other friends or meet people around the world. And QQ, when it came out, was just like that at first. Now, QQ has 700 million monthly active users, and it seems like a lot of their users are younger, or at least their lively users are younger. And then they have users of various age ranges that are using it, but are not using it all the time. They're not using it like WeChat. They're not using it all day long, every day. So let's take a look on my phone, and we'll look at some of the features and then talk some more about who uses WeChat and why, and then how we might use it for marketing. WeChat, when I open it up and I come to the home page here, sorry, not WeChat. I'm getting mixed up. QQ is like WeChat. It's a messenger at its core. And when I open it up here, what I see is the messages that I have with various friends. Now, I'm not a big QQ user, so I just reinstalled it and added a few people on here. But if I click on here, then I can see that I can have a chat with a friend. Pretty normal stuff, right? I could also have group chats in here. And there's a lot more to it after that. Just like WeChat, there's going to be a lot more to it. So, for example, it has this section here that's called Candian, which on the surface, it looks a lot like a news feed app like Toutiao or like Baidu's news, Sincilio. But from asking different people and looking at the reviews of this, I would say this is not really a Toutiao. This is not really close to being Toutiao. It has a lot of clickbaity kind of stuff on there. Some people like it. Some people think that the content quality is too low. It's too boring or annoying or unsophisticated compared to Toutiao. So I wouldn't say this is a major feature that we're using for marketing or anything.
To be honest, I haven't even clicked into those ads for a long time. I think they were just like baiting you to click into them. Then you see a very terrible content.
Okay, which is different from Toutiao, where Toutiao is pretty good and pretty strict at cracking down on the kind of articles that would use clickbait, and on Toutiao they get rid of that, but it's present here. And then when you look further in here, you see a whole bunch of different apps and features. And if you've looked at my previous videos where I give tours of various Chinese platforms, you'll see that there's a common thread, which is the platforms, they all have something that they started out with that is quite special and something that is unique about them. But then they add in every other feature they can think of to try to make it the total platform, right? The total platform that users can come on and they can do anything that they want to on there. A lot of Chinese platforms would like to be like WeChat, basically.
I think that's all in one platform.
Yeah. So like here, they have live streaming. I can go in and I can watch live streams right away. The first things that it shows me are mostly women chatting, but it also has gaming live streams, and it has a whole bunch of different ones in there. And then it'll have a couple different video options. Like it has even there are two different options in here just for going through and viewing short videos that would be similar to Douyin or TikTok. And I can also go in and grab music. I can do shopping through Jingdong. I can look for a date. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that I can do. And I can check out a feed in here, a feed of my friends. But you know, I don't have friends on here, so I'm not seeing that information. Or I only have a few friends, and maybe they haven't added anything here.
That's QZone, right?
Yeah, so part of QQ was QZone, or QZone is still there. It's just not so many people are really paying attention to it anymore. QZone was like a MySpace kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I could still use it. I can still add my photos in there, and I can create my QZone.
I think you can write a small blog, and you can write a long article, and you can share some photos and create albums. And that's something I used to do when I was in like high school. So I used to write a lot of stuff and sharing in QZone.
But not anymore.
No, since I started to use WeChat, I think I just stopped using QQ anymore.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, I used QQ Zone. I updated a lot of content on there, but after that, I just block it so nobody can see it.
Why you want nobody to see the QZone stuff you post?
Because sometimes it's just like I want to record my my feeling and something like that, so I want to make it private.
Okay, so who uses QQ nowadays? From asking different people, what I found out is some younger people will still use it because they can get onto QQ without the need to have a mobile phone number attached to it. So they could sign up to QQ on a desktop or a phone without using their phone number, or they could do it on a tablet. It's easier for them, right? Whereas on WeChat, you would need to bind it to a mobile account. So young people can use QQ. The other thing is that QQ could be used anonymously since it's not tied to your phone number or anything. And some people still use it for groups, right? They have their different groups on there that they attend, maybe anonymously. And that's a useful feature of it.
I think a lot of like university students are still using QQ for their school group chat if they have a class of groups. So they will probably add each other in a group chat like University of Nanjing year 1 class 6, something like that probably. And they're still using that very hot.
Also, some gamers will use QQ group. It's easier for us to talk to other people.
Okay, but why is it easier to talk to people?
Because on WeChat, everyone can see your photo, your moment. But on QQ, everyone's information may be just a fake information. So you can talk what you want.
Right. You can be more anonymous. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And then another reason I found that people use QQ still is because they could send big files on it, files that are too big to send via WeChat or via email.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because if I send photos or videos from WeChat, it will lower down the quality of my videos. So QQ can be better.
Okay. Now, to sign up for QQ, I noticed that people would need to go to qq.com and actually download it, because I checked Google Play first and I was able to download it through Google Play, but then I wasn't able to sign up, and it keeps giving me an error message that I need the newest version of the app. And I checked the reviews on Google Play and it was only 2.5 stars, and there were tons of people complaining about the same issue. So I guess if anybody wants to get it, they got to go to qq.com to get it. Let's talk about marketing. Let's go on. Let's talk about marketing on QQ. You know, because we used to use QQ in Nanjing Marketing Group a bit because we'd create groups for students on there for our education marketing projects. But then later on, we didn't do that because not as many people were using it. But, you know, an Nanjing marketing group, we're only working in education marketing and B2B marketing, so we're not covering everything. I could see how QQ would still be useful for people that were selling anything that younger people like, or if they're selling consumer products, if they want to expand their advertising through 10 cents advertising options, QQ would be one of the places that they could do it, right? So it can be suitable for some companies to do their marketing. It's just not so much for us. One of the reasons that people use QQ is because they could send the bigger files on there. But now WeChat is going to have an update too. They used to have a file size limit of 25 megabytes, but now it's going to be increased to 200 megabytes. It's going to make WeChat more convenient for sending big files.
Yes, I think that's one thing a lot of people was talking about. One thing really going bad on WeChat, why it doesn't allow to send bigger files. In particular, like us, sometimes we're sending files. It's way bigger than 25 megabyte, and once it goes over the 25, it would just say, oh, you couldn't send, or you have to do something to send the document. But for now, it's just very convenient, because normally with 200 megabytes, you can literally send all the documents or pictures or videos.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So maybe we'll see some of the older people that are not gamers finally use QQ less and use WeChat for everything. I don't know. One more thing I should have mentioned earlier when we were talking about QQ is that we use QQ for customer support though too.
Yes.
Yeah. Because as long as some people use it, we might as well have it as a tool for customer support besides just WeChat or just Baidu's customer support tool.
Oh, I think one thing you just mentioned to me reminds me of one unique feature on QQ is if you are in a group chat on QQ and if you want to talk to someone in the group, you don't really have to add them as a friend. You can talk to them and chat with them as a stranger. But on WeChat, if you want to talk to someone in a group individually, you have to add them as a friend first. And that's something I remember very clearly.
Okay.